Welcome back to Urban Women, and we are live on our screens. So that's the beauty of technology, isn't it? We're always transforming and talking about technology. There's something else that everybody is using at the moment. Let's talk about it. We're talking about AI. Artificial intelligence is transforming the way we work, and you know about this. You really want to pay attention to this one. Welcome back. It's Urban Woman with me, Razia, Rangrage. Do join us live on Facebook and YouTube. We're actually talking about artificial intelligence, and as I said, it is transforming the way we work, communicate, and also create content. But while AI can generate words in seconds, and I think we get kind of relieved by that, many experts actually argue that it's also exposing a bigger problem, and that is poor writing and weak thinking. To help us understand this more, joined now on our screens as well as the airwaves of Radio Al-Ansar by Tiffany Markman, who is a multi-award-winning copywriter, communication strategist, and keynote speaker based in Johannesburg. Tiffany has appeared on radio, television, podcasts, webinars, and conferences, actually conference stages in South Africa, the UK, USA, India, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Middle East. She's also a volunteer bat rehabilitator, specializing in orphaned and injured microbats. Good morning, Tiffany, and welcome to Urban Woman on Radio Al-Ansar this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, we thank you for your time. Let's talk about this because I think everybody can resonate with this topic right now. AI can make bad writing worse. Share with us, what do you actually mean by that?
So the unfortunate thing is an AI platform will answer whatever you give it. So if your thinking is vague, with brief direction, AI isn't going to make those things. It's just going to produce more words that are weak, that are misdirected. So what surprises people is your judgment. And accelerate that. Whatever the input is good, output will be good. And the problem is that poor writers mass produce content that was never particularly useful in the first place.
Absolutely. And share with us, what are the most common signs that a piece of content was actually generated without enough human input?
People think that it's the word quietly, three words and phrases, and that are an AI involved. Those aren't the giveaways. It's of sameness. What I call Asian. Content feels generic. It feels like a industry, any sort of vagueness, not a lot of specificity, not a lot of vulnerability, not a community. That's normally a sign by AI.
And what risks, and I think many businesses actually do use AI, so what are the risks that the brands can face when they sound exactly like everyone else using the same AI tools? And we see this. I mean, when you see pictures being generated and put out there, we just immediately know where it's coming from, where it was generated.
Yeah. So the risk isn't really to your visibility, but it is to preference. When everyone sounds the same decide who your favorite is. Friends who want to support thinkers and thought leaders disagree. When everyone sounds much the same, it can be extremely hard to differentiate between brands. Brands become interchangeable. And the risk, of course, is if you're going to use similar prompts, then audiences are going to struggle to remember who said what.
True. Yeah. It all is so similar. That's so true. And what aspects of creativity remain uniquely human?
I love this question. Humans bring judgment to the table. So humans are good at deciding what's worth saying, at connecting things that are not overtly connected. Humans are good at bringing experiences from unusual places. Humans are good at noticing unusual patterns. We also tell stories that come from real life and that are full of flaws and vulnerabilities and weird, human idiosyncrasies. And also humans understand timing and emotion, which generative AI platforms don't. So I think the more we introduce thinking and content and detail that is flawed and weird and illogical, the more human creativity is able to stay in content that has been AI assisted.
That's so true. Yeah, absolutely. And are there actually specific habits? Now, we know that you are a communication strategist and also a keynote speaker, and you are so involved also in writing. So share with us, are there specific habits that writers should develop before actually turning to AI tools?
I think the key thing is the thought process. I think writers have to be better at planning and thinking and strategizing long before they turn to the generative AI platform to do the writing for them. And this means giving some thought to the things that professional writers obsess about, which is defining your audience, defining your objective, defining your point of view, expanding your point of view. And when you think about these things long before you input your prompt to the AI platform, you tend to get output that is far better. So my advice to both professional and non-professional writers is get better at briefing yourself so that you can brief the platform, but also start collecting human stories and anecdotes and examples and observations and insights and bring original material to the process, because AI will then become more useful.
Absolutely. So, in essence, what you're actually saying, Tiffany, is that have an idea of what you actually want. Clarity is key, and then give it so that it can help you to just polish things up. But I think many people may probably just depend and rely totally on the AI. So yes, use your thinking faculties. Otherwise, what's going to happen to our brain cells? When I look at our phones and how we just so easily swiping, and our attention span is getting programmed, because you know how the what can I say, neurological parts of our brain actually work. It's all about programming, and what we keep on doing that becomes habit. And if we're going to keep allowing AI to just take over, then how much of what we want is going to be clear to us, how much of our power are we giving away, and all of that. So yeah, there we go. Better planning and thinking of what you want. So that is definitely a habit that we should be having as humans. And Tiffany, looking ahead, what do you think? Do you think AI will actually raise the overall standard of communication, or do you think that is going to lower it? And to share with us why?
I think it'll be both. I mean, I'm never going to give you a binary and say it's going to be either one or the other. I think it's going to be both. On the positive side, I think the average standard will rise because AI makes entry-level bulk communication easier. So more people who are poor or unconfident writers will be able to produce reasonably clear emails and documents and reports, which are better than they would have been pre-AI. But I think then that I think the average will get bigger. So I think the mediocre middle will get bigger, and the gap between that and truly excellent communication will become much more obvious. So the risk, of course, is that when everyone can generate content that is competent but not amazing, the real competitive advantage shifts to those who are much more than competent and much more than amazing, and who have originality and judgment and craft. So in instances like that, what happens is the lowest common denominator become better writers. The highest common denominator become more sought after. I'm in fact getting more and more work from people who want human-only content or human-assisted content. So I don't think AI will replace great communicators. I think it will make them stand out more, but I think that it will replace middling and entry-level communicators. So I've certainly seen this in the freelancing industry, that writers who wrote as sort of a hobby while driving an Uber and making jam are not making money from writing anymore. But writers who are writers for 10 hours a day are making money.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think, you know what, it's almost like how when we are even watching videos, you can see that which is also AI generated. And people are tending more to the real and the raw videos that people are then putting out that and are just unedited, unfiltered, and just putting it out there, because I think we're getting so kind of tired. So I can understand what you're saying about you getting more work now. So the irony of where we thought we'd be replaced, but actually what people are opting towards, coming back to our human essence. So again, AI, what would you like to leave our listeners with again when we talk about AI, a tool, and what we must remember going forward? I mean, everything is there to obviously assist us, but not replace us. So your message as we wrap up today's segment.
My message is that if you're not using it, give it a try. Don't be scared of it. It's much more intuitive and much easier than you think. If you are using it, take a little bit longer to brief it and prompt it. Create prompts and briefs that are really meaty and really valuable. And if you work in communication, creativity, any of those fields, you don't want to be anxious about being replaced by AI. You want to be anxious about being replaced by someone like you who is using AI better than you are.
That's it. Because obviously you can become competent but not amazing. So learn how to just work with it, but don't let it take over. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today and to talk about this very important topic, because I think we can all resonate with it. Tiffany, we wish you a lovely day further until we connect again. Bye for now. Bye. And that was Tiffany Markman, who's actually a multi-award-winning copywriter, communication strategist, and keynote speaker based in Johannesburg. So we were talking about why AI makes bad writing worse. Don't let anything replace you. If anything, remember, the first thing that Quran told us was Iqra, read, and it's all about understanding things and also developing our own human faculty, the brain. So don't let things make us lazy. But yes, it's there. It's a tool to help us just become better. Let's go for a break. 11:34 on the clock. We'll be back with you. It's Razia Rangrage, and you are live with me on the screens. An urban woman. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.